The camera opens on a crowd without borders. Eyes closed, hands lifted, thousands of voices fused by a single line. What God cannot do, the preacher declares, does not exist, the people respond with the force of a stadium anthem. This is no longer just a church service. It is a movement born in a time of global despair, rising from Umuahia, Nigeria, to capture the attention of millions in over 200 countries. It began as a daily live stream of prayer, but grew into one of the fastest expanding Christian expressions of the 21st century. The man at the center, Jerry Uchechukwu Ease, did not begin as a pastor but as a history student, communicator, and development worker. He now leads Streams of Joy International, the ministry behind the viral new season Prophetic Prayers and Declarations, NSBPD. To understand Jerry Ease is to trace the unlikely journey of a voice that became a flame that became a fire altar, and a fire altar that has turned into an international phenomenon. Chapter 1. Jerry Ease was born on August 22, 1982, in Umuahia, Abia State. Raised by his mother after his father's absence, his childhood was marked by lack, but also by resilience. He studied history and international relations at Abia State University, later adding a postgraduate business qualification at Enugu State University of Science and Technology. His early career was not in pulpits but in development, working as a communications specialist for the World Bank and the United Nations Population Fund. That training sharpened his clarity, discipline, and communication skills. Yet, behind the spreadsheets and reports, a different fire was brewing. He had been active in campus fellowships, pastoring students, and speaking with a zeal that would not let him go. By 2013, he surrendered to full-time ministry and planted a church in Umuahia, Streams of Joy International. At first it was small, just another local assembly. But the DNA of something larger was already embedded: clarity, discipline, and a relentless focus on transformation. Chapter 2. When the world shut down in 2020, churches locked their doors. Many ministries froze. Jerry Ease's response was different. He set up a camera, a small team, and launched the new season Prophetic Prayers and Declarations, NSBPD, on Facebook and YouTube. Every weekday at 7 a.m. West Africa time, people logged in from Lagos, London, New York, and beyond. The format was fast, fiery, and focused. Scripture, prophetic declarations, targeted prayer points, and testimonies read out as proof of answered prayers. The anchor phrase, "What God cannot do does not exist," became more than a slogan. It was a rallying cry, a viral hashtag, a spiritual brand. Within months, viewership swelled from hundreds to thousands, then to hundreds of thousands. By 2021, streams often drew millions in cumulative views. At a time when people were isolated, anxious, and fearful of death, NSBPD offered hope and community in real time. The pandemic forced church online. Jerry Ease made it global. Chapter 3. Behind every viral moment stands an institution. Streams of Joy International expanded rapidly in Nigeria and abroad. From its base in Umuahia, it spread to Abuja, Owerri, ABA, Uyo, and Calabar. Soon branches emerged in Houston, Atlanta, Dallas, New Jersey, New York, Maryland, Philadelphia, and San Antonio. In Canada, churches opened in Edmonton and Calgary. In the United Kingdom, multiple campuses appeared in London, Northampton, Nottingham, Birmingham, East London, and Manchester. Each location carried the same DNA: fiery prayers, prophetic declarations, and testimonies. The global expansion followed a clear pattern. The online streams sparked demand, and physical branches met the hunger. The brand coherence remained tight. Services filled with energetic worship, simple but powerful messages, and the unmistakable language of possibility. The message was consistent. God still works wonders, and you can be part of it. Chapter 4. Alongside Jerry stands Pastor Eno Ebel Jerry, wife, resident pastor, author, and leadership expert. With a PhD in Human Resource Management from the University of Greenwich, London, she brings an unusual blend of scholarship and spirituality. She leads the Women on Fire Network, speaks at conferences, and writes books that tackle marriage, leadership, and modern womanhood. Her titles include I Almost Ruined My Marriage and the Proverbs 31 Woman in Contemporary Times. Within Streams of Joy, she anchors counseling, discipleship, and women's ministries, providing structure to what might otherwise be just fiery moments. Where Jerry pushes the global vision, Eno nurtures sustainability, mentoring women, shaping leaders, and ensuring that a viral prayer altar matures into a healthy church system. Together, they embody a partnership of charisma and strategy, vision and structure, fire and foundation. Chapter 5. The true test of a digital revival is whether people will show up in person. In October 2022, they did 20,000 in Houston for an NSBPD on-site prayer meeting. London followed with repeated waves, including a June 2023 NSBPD UK conference that drew extraordinary numbers. In September 2025, London's Excel Centre hosted what was reported as the largest Christian gathering in the UK that year. Tens of thousands attending an NSBPD event. These weren't concerts or motivational shows. They were prayer meetings. Testimonies of healings, breakthroughs, and restored families filled arenas. From America to Europe, people queued hours before doors opened, often wearing shirts emblazoned with "What God cannot do does not exist." The live stream had spilled into the streets. The global church was no longer just logging on, it was showing up. Chapter 6. No movement of this scale escapes scrutiny. With visibility came criticism. Some questioned the constant flood of miracle testimonies. Others debated the intersection of pulpit and politics. In January 2025, when a Nigerian governor publicly shared a testimony at Streams of Joy, media debates erupted about religion and state. Critics worried about spectacle overshadowing substance. But supporters pointed to the consistency of prayer, the verifiable cases, and the sheer number of lives changed. Jerry Ease himself maintained focus, returning daily at 7 a.m. with the same fervor. For every critic, there were countless worshipers who testified of healing, jobs, marriages, and restored faith. The reality is that revival always provokes resistance. Streams of Joy continued to grow, using the friction not as fuel for argument, but as confirmation of relevance. Chapter 7. The success of NSBPD is not accidental. The choice of 7 a.m. is strategic. It catches Nigerians before work, Africans on their commute, Europeans in mid-morning, and Americans at night. The sessions are short enough for routines, but intense enough to feel like encounters. The language is accessible, the declarations are bold, and the testimonies are relatable. Social media clips provide daily highlights that extend reach. The slogan, "What God cannot do does not exist," is short, memorable, and universally repeatable. It's theology compressed into a tweet, a chant, a brand. Add to this the discipline of never missing a weekday since its inception, and you have habit formation at scale. People don't just watch, they set alarms. The altar becomes part of daily life. In digital terms, NSBPD built retention and stickiness better than most tech startups ever dream. Chapter 8. The story of Jerry Ease and Streams of Joy International is still unfolding. What began as one man's obedience has become a global network of churches, a daily digital revival, and arena-filling gatherings. Its legacy will be measured not just in view counts or crowd sizes, but in transformed lives, strengthened families, and a faith culture reinvigorated. Jerry Ease, once a boy who knew lack, now leads millions into prayer. Eno Jerry, once a leadership scholar, now disciples thousands of women. Together, they stand as proof that faith plus strategy can shape history. The future will test whether this fire can become a lasting flame, stewarded across generations. But for now, every morning, millions still gather, phones in hand, hearts expectant, repeating the words that define the movement. What God cannot do does not exist.